Here's the hard thing about Milwaukee and blowout run, guys, is they're going to run their guys out until the game is completely secured. Like, they have no choice. They're not going to give the Nets an inch to get back into this game if it's like a blowout going into the fourth quarter. If I like the blowout idea, I think one of the things that needs to happen is Chris Middleton needs to be hitting his shots.
If you play Middleton or Drew at captain with Giannis and KD, obviously on DK I'm talking now, you can get all four of the studs basically. You can put Giannis and KD and then two of Lopez, Middleton, Drew, and then just two punts with it, and two punts will play well in the blowout. So I think that might be the way to go over a Giannis or KD captain, because it just gets you in a different range where you can play all four of them. I think it's a different path, and I think it's going to win. I think we're going to win like all the money.
Good. I hope you're right.
Like I think it's going to be a massive night for whoever's watching this show.
Oh my God. Did you see what happened last night at Run Pure? Holy shamoly. This is going to be a great show, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I got JT here. I don't know why he's glowing. We talked about odd things with tongues and bald heads and things before the show started, but we're going to keep it even keel now and just talk baseball and winners. Hello, JT, and I hope you have a great time at the Braves game tonight.
Yeah, I'm excited. The Braves this week, I mean, it's that time of year, and the team is in that time of rut with just an absolute disaster of a bullpen that you can go to the ballpark and almost expect 20 runs every night between both teams. Didn't quite see that last night, but I think we'll see some runs tonight. And speaking of runs and things going well, man, Holden, I mean, how about Punisher taking down the 100K on FanDuel last night in MLB. Big T, of course. I mean, it's a day that ends in Y. He had another good night, but a bunch of subs winning a bunch of money from the core plays, from the playbook, and, of course, putting in their own research, which is something that we specialize in here, and talking about how to attack these slates and what to look at. Just a great night, just a great time to be a member of this community right now, and we're excited to keep it going today.
Yeah, we had a 100K shipper on baseball. That wasn't even the basketball hit. Mal is in the chat. Worst white dude, #1 seed. I just found out about Pete Christensen being the worst #1 seeded white guy in the history of the world. There are worse white people. I'm glad you clarified that it was baseball.
I hope at least a few out there. I hope at least a few.
I'm glad you clarified it was baseball.
I had a question. Was Sirhan white? Is he
he was not white. Sirhan was not white, and you lost 90% of our audience.
That's all right. They'll figure out. They're all on Google right now. These guys are very quick on the open.
Okay. Anyways, we'll get to the winners here in just a second. DC, how are you, buddy? We got a big slate tonight. We got a lot of weather. We got high. The Red Sox team total is 6. No. Toronto total is 6. The Red Sox are 5.5. We got a lot of offense on the slate. Before we get to the winners, lots and lots of bats tonight.
Yes, I'm good. Friday afternoon, 15 games of baseball, hot weather everywhere. What do we have? 6, 7, 8 totals over 5 runs, I think. Coors Field, man, this is a fantastic baseball slate. I actually think it's somewhat straightforward, at least in my opinion, for a 15-game slate, especially at pitching. So obviously we'll start the show off at pitching as we always do, but a few guys I like a lot, and a few good fades out there too. So I'm excited about this one.
All right. So let me catch everybody on what happened last night. You either saw the video coming in or you didn't. So Me and DC. By the way, great call on Hendricks yesterday, Kyle Hendricks, because I didn't like him at all. I still played him because he was in your cores, and that helped me cash in MLB. So we're doing the show, me and DC and G Ryzen, and then we stopped the show, and then a minute later, JSU's like, okay, we can do the basketball show. I said, all right, let's do the showdown. I'll come back on the show. A second later, Big T's like, y'all ain't talking basketball without me. And then, well, that was not a good one, was it? I'm sorry.
That was better than my attempt at it.
I mean, that was so Big T. I apologize. So anyways, y'all ain't talking basketball without me. And then we started talking basketball. And it wasn't just Big T. It was like Big T and JSU. I'm listening to two of the best out there in the world. I'm the luckiest guy. I work with these guys every day. The fact of the matter that I should just up my bankroll. These guys are so good. So anyways, Big T's talking about it. He's like, here's what we're going to do. We're going to play Middleton and the captain. We're going to get Durant and Giannis in there. And then what we're going to do is just fill it out this way. And I said, oh, that's easy. And you'll see me in the video. I'm actually doing this. I'm building my lineups while he's talking. So it worked again. And all I can tell you is if you are not a subscriber, you are missing out. Just ask Izzy in the chat. It took him like 8 years to sign up and get in here. And now he's doing it and he's crushing too. And hi, Nate, RPS Heater 25. I can't tell you enough. All right, let's go. I'm just looking at all the winners here. I can't even read all the winners. What do we got?
A lot of names. It's a lot of names.
Yeah, Gator's tied with Big T to win 53.33. So we had members right up there with Big T. I mean, it's just amazing how many of these guys are crushing right now. And it makes us happy. Seriously, like we celebrate with you. When we see guys at the top of the leaderboard, maybe JT doesn't. He's kind of a hard ass, but everybody else celebrates. The Punisher won 100K in baseball.
That's
and then Hoop was.
Why do you say I wouldn't celebrate? I celebrated immediately.
You're kind of a badass. You don't need.
You can be a badass and still celebrate the members winning.
Yeah,
I don't think it's two of that related.
So
to be honest.
Big T won 170K. Like seriously, we deserve a raise, Big T, and I'm not kidding this time. Rico's couch, $15 into 4.5K. I turned like $16 into almost 900, which is a lot for me. Splat 4.5K, Twirich 9K, CSDFS almost 12K, 20K for Hale 21, Gators $78,000, MLB Hoop. You should have been on the show yesterday, Hoop. You might have cashed. You might have won a little bit more than 35K. Bad mojo because you blew us off. Punisher 100K. My God, this is just amazing. It's so much fun. RPS Heater 25. That's all I can tell you. Hit the like button. And you guys ready to get the show going? Let's do this.
I think that's enough promotion for now.
Yeah, I could do a lot more. I could do a lot more. But, no, Brandon. Big T is not.
You do the full hour of promotion if they'd let you.
Big T is not Forrest Gump. It was just a bad. I can't do any of the voices I used to do growing up because now I'd get canceled. So I just have to keep it to bad Southern accents. JT, your smirk on your face. I feel like you need to say something. So just talk about pitching. Who's in your core tonight?
I'm just enjoying your greatness. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm enjoying.
That's usually what they say. You're not the first. You won't be the last. So
when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I'm looking forward to is the Holden monologue. So I'm happy to get
the first thing you're looking forward to is looking at the schedule, hoping that I've been moved to the other show.
No. I'm here for the Holden monologues.
Yeah, it is stroke season. Right here, baby. Right here. We're in a stroke season, and I'm not even ashamed of it. I am not ashamed of it. Hi, Izzy. Hi, KMB Squid. Let's go. All right. JT, tons of warm weather tonight. We got some interesting guys at the top of pitching. Rodon, Bauer, Burns, Robbie Ray, Barrios. Let's talk some pitching, man. Who's in your core tonight? Who's your pool?
Yeah, so the top end is, I think, where probably a lot of people are going to try and pick out one of these guys. You got Bauer in Arizona against an Arizona team that just has been terrible. I mean, historically bad on the road. They just set the Major League Baseball record for losses on the road. They do return home. The roof is closed in Arizona tonight, but Bauer just hasn't been. He hasn't been bad, but he hasn't been worth that. 10.6 is what he is on DraftKings tonight. It hasn't been worth that price in his last 4 games. But if there's a matchup where he can get right, certainly this is it. You've got Corbin Burns, who wasn't his normal self against the Pirates last weekend. That was a home game. The Pirates, again, don't strike out a ton. Burns is interesting because I rarely pay over 9K for a pitcher in Coors. Burns is 10-2. The Rockies at home have been, a team that can actually hit the ball as opposed to what they are on the road. So I think there's a decision point there. And then you look at Rodon, who's right in the middle of these two guys. Actually, I think he might be the same price as Bauer on DraftKings. But he's in Houston in a matchup against the team that's been the best hitting team against left-handed pitching over the last 2 weeks. So I think of all 3 of these guys, so that's the setup in terms of what's actually going on the field. And then I think you have to think about how different it is for these guys. We saw Garrett Cole come out and talk again about how he had a difficulty gripping the ball. We know what's been going on here.
He was almost in tears.
He was.
Good.
And he was getting abused by sports radio in New York because of the way that his voice sounded. That being said, he makes a fair point. And DC, I'll throw it to you with thinking about these guys in the 10K range, because right now, for me, I'm leaning on a fade of all these guys until I can get a better handle on what a true outcome is to expect without them being able to have these substances that help them grip the ball, that help them move the ball. And I think that's borne itself out pretty well over the course of this week. If you faded these higher priced guys, you've been on the right path. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I've been talking about it for a couple of weeks. I'm sure some people are tired of me saying the words sticky substance or spin rate, but it's had a huge effect. I thought it would. And the truth is, Trevor Bauer has not been himself since kind of losing this thing. I mean, you just look at the results. You look at the Garrett Cole interviews, like that kind of, the data all says this is having a big effect, but then you hear Cole talk about it, right? Like, obviously it is. If he's that upset about not being able to use this stuff, that tells you how effective this stuff is when you use it. And
there's a passion there. There's a passion there.
There is. And so Bauer and Burns are 2 of the biggest guys who I think are going to have significant performance declines from this is a rule that's been on the books, but now MLB is choosing to enforce it for the first time. So they're both relatively easy fades, I guess. Burns in particular, I was on him at the very, very first start that he made, in every start basically after that. And now I'm off Corbin Burns here. For one, there's obviously the spin rate stuff, but 2, I think Coors Field is a particularly tough matchup for Corbin Burns, who does rely very, very heavily on his cutter, which was the highest spin rate cutter in baseball. And that pitch is not going to move as much in Coors Field, right? So you have the dual effect of losing the sticky substances and going to Coors Field, where it's going to affect his number 1 pitch quite a bit. So relatively easy fade. I actually kind of like the Rockies here. Bauer, same thing. I mean, matchups. Yeah, I like the Rockies against Corbin Burns.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Bauer, yeah, I mean, same thing. And then Carlos Rodon, I don't actually have much concerns about him, about performance decline. But it's just Houston, right? Like you said, JT, they've been the best. They're just clearly one of the best offenses in baseball against lefties. Do you really want to pay the highest price pitcher on the slate in the toughest matchup? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So you don't say it often, but all 3 10K plus guys on DraftKings, I feel pretty good about fading those guys.
Okay. So the sticky substance has really turned out to be like Viagra for pitchers, because they just go out there, they take care of it. I thought Charlie Morton was a spin rate guy coming up. And he's not, because he came up through Houston. Well, actually, his spin rate went up.
High, but they haven't come down, basically.
That's the fascinating part about Charlie Morton. So he's probably using the old school sticky shit. DC, what else we got in our pool today? Who do we got?
Yeah, so if we're fading the top guys, obviously we need to find some pitchers that we like. And right below that 10K plus tier, Robbie Ray, I think is a fantastic option, 9,300. We've talked about him a ton on this show, on the podcast, everything. He's just a different pitcher this year with Toronto than he's ever been in his career, throwing a ton of strikes, getting a ton of strikeouts, going deep into games. What more do you want from Robbie Ray? He's just been fantastic. going into Camden, Baltimore obviously can hit a little bit, and it's a tough place to pitch, but most places on this slate are tough places to pitch, right? It's hot everywhere. The ball's going to be flying. So I'm not overly concerned about the hitting environment that Robbie Ray needs to go up against. So yeah, I think he's a great option. And then the other two guys that I really like, and it's kind of a condensed pitcher pool for me today, Yusei Kikuchi at home against Tampa Bay at 8,600. He's a good strikeout guy. And then Jose Barrios going on the road to face the Rangers, obviously a good matchup there. And Barrios has looked pretty strong recently. And these are guys that seems like they're going to kind of keep going. And I think as other pitchers kind of fall by the wayside, Barrios, Kikuchi, Robbie Ray, three guys that I think are going to emerge a little bit. Their stock has risen to me. So I like the matchups for all three of these guys, and I expect good outings from them. Mid 8Ks for both Kikuchi and Barrios rather. Looks like the place to be living tonight.
Kenny Powers didn't use the sticky stuff just through the heat. You're right, Mike. He didn't use the stick. He used steroids though, like straight up Winstrol Deca cycles. So that'll help you a little bit more than the sticky stuff. JT, steroids, your thoughts. So who else is in your pitcher pool tonight, buddy? We heard a couple of guys. Anybody down low you could talk about?
Well, there's a couple that DC didn't mention. I think I'll side with him on perhaps Kikuchi. I'll side with you. It was Kikuchi, Ray, and the third guy, Barrios.
Yep.
Barrios is a guy, man. Barrios is a guy I almost never use on the road. He's got over the course.
That's a fair concern. I have the same thing.
It is, and it's tough because it's tempting because it's Texas and it's in that cavern that they play in. And Robbie Ray has been so good. Baltimore has not been as good as Houston against left-handed pitching. I think they're probably second best though. So I like Ray. I like his talent. There's two guys you didn't mention that I think I'm looking at that I like a lot, and I like for different reasons. And the first guy, one, I don't think anybody's going to play this guy. And this is a kid who I think there's just something about this kid's makeup. And he pitched against the Angels in Southern California. That's where he's from. And after the game, he talked about how he wanted to put on a good performance because that's where he's from. And the Yankees traded this kid. And the Yankees are an offense right now I'm not scared of against hard-throwing right-handers, especially guys with hard-throwing sliders. That's what Kaprelian throws. And I think James Kaprelian is going to go into Yankee Stadium tonight. I think he's going to throw an absolutely fucking awesome game. So I like James Kaprelian. He's going to probably come in at 1% owned. This is a great matchup for the Oakland offense. You talk about pitchers who are bad under the radar. I mean, Jamison Taillon can't get a left-handed hitter out, no matter who it is. And you've got a couple of guys there in Olsen and even Mike Moreland. It's too bad. Mitch Moreland. Too bad they play the same position. But I think it's a good matchup for Oakland. I think it's a good matchup for Kaprelian. And then another guy, a little bit scarier matchup maybe 2 weeks ago when this team was fully healthy, but Luis Garcia has been very, very good. He's coming off of a down performance against the Twins in Minnesota. But outside of that, he shut down the Toronto Blue Jays. He shut down, I think, the Boston Red Sox. And I like him, these two guys at a discount, Kaprelian and Luis Garcia. And I'll mention one guy that's a bit lower. It's probably going to make DC vomit, and it's going to be hurtful, and I'm going to apologize in advance. But Mike Foltynewicz at 5'7".
Oh, come on.
Mike Foltynewicz, listen to me.
Get out of here.
Listen to me. Mike Foltynewicz coming off of 2 games, one in Colorado, one against the Dodgers. Now he gets an all right-handed offense in that park in Texas. If you're going to go lower, I don't know that I'll go here. I certainly won't go here on my main. But if you wanted to go lower, I honestly don't hate the idea of him. And we saw what Chris Flexen did to this Minnesota Twins team just a couple of nights ago. And if I'm going to rank on ability, I'm going to rank and say that Mike Foltynewicz has more natural ability than Chris Flexen. I don't mind taking a shot on him at 5'7".
DC, please tell me you think that's a horrible take.
JT was doing so well.
Thank you.
Luis Garcia, a great call there. In fact, as he talked about him, I added him to my playbook. I put him 4th place, in 4th ranking behind Barrios, Ray, Kikuchi. I added Luis Garcia. So good call on that one. He was kind of on the edge to me, and I get what JT's saying. I have no problem with the Kaprelian call. Man, Mike Fultonevich, though, I can't get behind on this one. JT is going to be on Fulte Island, so we'll leave that to him. Maybe it's a nice sunny place that it's fruitful, and you're going to be having a good vacation. But I won't be joining you on the beach on Mike Fultonevich Island tonight.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's better to be by yourself.
Yeah, if you're looking for, and guys will do this. Guys will say, well, I want to play these higher priced offenses.
Sure.
You want to play Toronto and you want to play the Red Sox. You want to play Toronto and you want to play the Dodgers.
Or maybe you want Shohei Ohtani in your lineup. There's a ton of bats.
Or Matty Olson. Or Matty Olson at 5'9".
Yes.
You say, I love this matchup.
I get it from that perspective, for sure.
Where are you going to go down below? You're going to go to, Senzatella, he doesn't, even though the Brewers strike out, that's a terrible park. I get the price, but if I'm going to pay that price, the guy that I would take the risk on is Fulte. Don't confuse this with me saying, oh, I have to have him. He's my top pitcher. I think our job is to objectively suggest who may be able to put up a score that you can live with at their price. And Fulte is where I would go in that low range if you wanted to stack up two of these higher priced offenses.
All right. Anybody else pitching wise? Are you ready to move on from this? But the Fultonevich thing, I'm on La La Land right now. I can't believe you said that, but okay.
I don't have much below the guys that we've talked about. I do think some people will roster Chris Paddock, who's a very big favorite against the Reds, minus 215. He's 8.3K. Reds have a 3.4 team total, right? Clearly Vegas expects him to have success. I'm just not the biggest Paddock guy, but I think he at least deserves to be mentioned. I think you could play Alex Cobb against the Tigers. He's been pretty good under the hood. His numbers especially look good for him. But 8,800, I just prefer Barrios and Senzatella a little bit more. Man, I don't know. There's not that much.
Okay.
I get the Fulte play just because it's a slate-based play, right? There's not very many guys that you can really even consider down there. If you think he's going to be okay, there are bats to pay for. So I get it from that perspective for sure.
Put down the Coors Light DFS production.
See, and I don't mind that because I think
I know
those are plays that no one's going to play. But I'll ask DC this because I know how he feels about the Twins. Are you rostering any Twins tonight in that stadium?
Yes.
Right.
The lefty outfielders that I'm always on that never do anything.
He gives up
but that's my point. It's
I get it. I'm not coming after you.
But we can move on. I don't necessarily care if anyone disagrees.
I know.
I'm looking at it. I'm like,
no, because when you're
I knew
right,
you would disagree. I knew you both.
Yeah, when you're right, you'll just come back and say you dumbass, and that's fine, and I'll take that. You will not be tailing me on the Twins first five minus 117 minus a half a run.
No, it's not like I'm saying he's going to throw a no-hitter hole.
It sounds like it.
No, stop that. If I told you right now, Fultonevich is going to give up 3 earned runs, he's going to throw 6 innings and strike out 5 batters.
Yes, I would play him.
So that's what I'm saying. It's just a price and a park play.
I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah. Okay. But we can move on because
I just want to read some more.
He's by no means anywhere near my favorite pitcher. He's not touching my main line.
Holden, who do you got? You got anybody else down there you want to play?
I just want to read the comments and then I'll tell you who's going to win tonight. DFS production. Put down the Coors Light, JT. Leakin, no one's staying on JT Island today. JT is a Braves fan, a Fulte fan, like an old.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's G Rising.
All those great years that Fulte gave the Braves.
let me tell you. If first of all, if there was any truth to that, I would never touch this guy again because I hustled to get to that playoff game against the Cardinals. I had great seats.
Oh, I remember that game.
I had just cracked open my first beer. It was a beautiful afternoon. It was like 75 degrees.
What did he give up, like 8 runs in the first inning, something like that?
He gave up 8 runs in the first 3 minutes of the game. I couldn't even finish my first beer. My wife is sitting there looking at me like, what do we do now? I go, well, we're here. We're going to get drunk.
Yeah.
What else do we got here? Uncle T is just crushing you.
I love Uncle T. Uncle T.
7 over Fulte. Did he just say Fulte? JT has better stuff than Fulte. JT's hog is going to be all over the leaderboard tonight, says Mike. So yeah,
probably true, Mike. It's probably true.
And G Risen says Hendricks was 3% yesterday, and yeah, I kept saying he's given up the most home runs in baseball, but then DC said he was on him, so I rostered him in one line, and it worked out really well.
Your favorite guy, Kyle Hendricks, JT.
Yeah.
Well, and you got to understand, Holden, Hendricks is a guy that DC has in season long. If he had Fulte in season long,
I would not have Fulte in season long. I would be in dead last place if I did. So I wouldn't be rostering that.
I mean, it depends.
I would have dropped
the last guy in. Who knows?
Who plays season long baseball besides for DC? Seriously,
everybody does. Who doesn't?
You're literally the only person I know.
He's got 700 dynasty rosters or something.
I work with all fantasy people, and you're the only one that plays season long. Do you play, JT? You seem like a season long. No, you don't even play.
Baseball. To be fair, baseball is the only season-long sport I play. So
you don't play. See, football is the sport to play, but you don't like the football.
A little bit of football, but baseball is the one I take serious.
Okay. All right. So let's get back on track here. We got 306 watching. We got 80 likes. If you like the show, hit the like button. It's as simple as that. I mean,
or if not, help us out. I mean, if you're watching it, presumably you like it. I don't know.
Yeah, No,
yeah,
my friend.
There are people who tune in just because they don't like it.
Bad assumption on my part. I take it back.
Trust me. People, there's a lot of people just watch and listen, waiting to get pissed off every day. It's a
hate watch. They're here to see the worst white guy on Twitter. So there you go.
Yeah, you are. You're wearing that as a badge.
Of course.
Okay, 300 watching, 81 likes. Let's go. Hit the like button. Let's get going here. Good mojo. And we'll move on. So since JT did RPS Heater 25, I want to remind you of that too. 25% off your first payment. I'm telling you, you're not going to be disappointed. I know some of you say, "Oh, I don't do that much. I don't have the money." We got guys that have been saying that, and then they sign up, and then all of a sudden they got the money. So RPS Heater 25. Let's start with you on offense, DC, and on the premium show, we kind of go to the stack. So let's just do broad brush stuff at catcher. We'll start at catcher tonight. Obviously, if you're stacking, this is a position you might want to throw in your stack. But if I'm one-offing or whatever, who's at the top of the list tonight? Yan Gomes?
For me, Salvador Perez, probably number one. If he's in the lineup, I like Omar Narvaez for the Brewers in Coors Field. But this is a bad position tonight. There is not really a lot of guys that I'm excited about. Will Smith, I think, is fine. Yasmani Grandal looks decent to me, even though Garcia is a pretty good pitcher. So a few guys at the top that you can spend up on. And, I'm not opposed to spending on catcher. I'm really not. I do it fairly often. But this slate looks pretty ugly. I think if you want to punt catcher this slate, or you need to, right, to get in some bigger bats at other positions, I think that's a pretty viable way to go. So a couple cheaper guys that I like a little bit. Yadier Molina, he's 3,300 against the lefty Max Fried. He looks okay to me. Again, Narvaez, I like him quite a bit. I think Victor Caratini's okay, but these aren't exciting plays. I don't know. Maybe you guys have a catcher you're excited about, because I really don't.
I like Yan Gomes. I don't think I'm going to have the money to get to him, though. The guy's going against the lefty.
5,000 for Yan Gomes
I can't do it.
It's a steep price point. Yeah.
But is he going to be outside of a national stack? Nobody is starting Yan Gomes tonight.
Yeah, it'll be under 10% for sure.
I like him, but I probably won't have any.
Yeah.
JT, where do you want to go at catcher today? Do you got anything down low that we could save on? Maybe Riley Adams. That doesn't look bad. 2-4 for Toronto. A team total of 6. If Dom Nunez is in there, maybe some Rockies. What do you got?
I mean, you mentioned, I think, the two cheap guys that are in positions that you can at least consider, the catcher in Coors Field, and then this Adams kid for the Blue Jays against Tom Eshelman, who was better last year than he was in 2019. He improved a little, former Cal State Fullerton guy. But this year in the minors, he's been anywhere between 2 and 4 innings, and it just has not been good for him. And he gets the best offense against right-handed pitching. I mean, it's, welcome back to the big leagues, Tommy. I don't know if I'm going to end up on this stack, though, just because of the pricing there. Remember, on these 15-game slates, there's probably maybe 5 teams tonight who have expected value where they could get over 10 runs scored. So if it's between the Blue Jays or one of these other stacks that's a little bit cheaper, I think that's probably where I'll find myself. The Cardinals, DC mentioned Yadi Molina. The Cardinals are extraordinarily cheap going against an Atlanta pitcher, Max Fried, that has never been a problem for them, and he's been up and down this year. And then that Atlanta bullpen wouldn't be a problem right now for most Little League teams. So I think Yachty at 3-3 is very intriguing. That's probably where I'll go. Yeah, Gomes was 5-2 the other day. I forget who they were pitching, playing against. It was maybe the Pirates. 5-2, he just keeps hitting home runs.
I know.
And now they go against Joey Lucchesi, who I think people are going to say, oh, I don't want to play Washington because Lucchesi's he's not. He's faced a Padres team that I think he was a little familiar with, and that recently talked about it a little bit yesterday against guys like Austin Gomber and even Wade Miley last night. They're just not getting it done against lefties. They'll come around, but he kind of faced them at the perfect time, and now he gets to face a Washington Nationals team that is turning it around a little bit. And I think that Gomes is certainly in play. I do like Will Smith as well in that matchup in the desert against Caleb Smith. So I think there's some options here. I think there's some options at catcher that may get you some offense here.
If Rohrvet's in there, DC, you got to start him, right? I mean, he's a lefty against Fulte for your boys. Come on.
Yeah, I bet he will be in there. And yeah, I think he's a good play too if you need the punt.
Very good. Let's move on to the first base position. Hit the like button. It would make us really happy. I mean, what's the ownership on Vlad tonight, DC? This is like the nuts.
Yeah.
Shohei and Vlad are two guys I really want in my lineup tonight. Like, how do you avoid Vlad? How do you do it?
Yeah. Well, you shouldn't avoid him. Yeah, I would not actively avoid Vladimir Guerrero. If you can get him in your lineup. Stone or 6K even on DraftKings. Obviously one of the highest price hitters as he has earned. I didn't get a chance to dig into Eshelman before the show because Bruce Zimmerman was scheduled to start this game. He got scratched. Looking him up a little bit while JT was talking there, man, he has been very, 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 very bad at the big league level and at the minor league level this year. Yes. Can't strike anybody out. In Camden Yards, what do you think is going to happen to these Blue Jays bats if they can't, if they're not getting struck out at all, which seems like it's going to be the case. So Vlad's got to be number one for me. There's a lot of good first basemen. I actually think I talked about this on the pod with Uncle T. The top 5 highest priced first basemen: Vladimir Guerrero, Matt Olson, Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, and Jared Walsh. All look like incredible plays to me. So I do want to spend here if I can.
Yeah, I like Eshelman's a disaster. I've actually seen him pitch quite a bit in person. And he's
probably going to get shelled tonight, to be honest. Yeah.
He's an official gas can. And then how often do you see a non-Coors team total of 6? That's what the Blue Jays are at tonight, JT. 6. Like, I can't even bet that right away. Hopefully they'll go through the first inning, but I have a feeling it's going to go up to 10 because they're just going to murder this poor guy. How about Toronto? Can you talk to me about Toronto as a whole tonight and then get into Vladdy?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think they're in a great spot. I mean, you've got Eshelman coming up, making a spot start. He last pitched on June 10th. The results there weren't as bad as they have been, but I think he only pitched 2 2/3 innings. So you got a guy who I think the ceiling here in terms of innings is 4, I would say. I think maybe if the stars align and for some reason Toronto doesn't just punish him back into the tunnel by the second inning, maybe he gets a little more than 4. But then you've got that bullpen behind it, and they've been very generous, and they're throwing out guys like Adam Plutko. I think we saw Matt Harvey come out of the bullpen the other day, a couple of days after he started.
Here's my prediction on Eshelman. He comes out in the middle of an inning. I don't think he finishes whatever, if he's going along, eventually it's going to get him, and he's not going to finish the last inning that he pitches. That's my prediction.
Yeah. But again, baseball's a game of variance, right? John King actually somehow danced in between the raindrops last night against this team, long enough. But it's a different bullpen. Yankees bullpen, not so great lately, but over the course of the season, they've been much better. And so they're in probably, a top 3 spot on the board, if not the best spot tonight, these Toronto guys.
Okay. Like button. Let's do it. Come on. 355 watching, 134 likes. We need a little bit more than that. There's a conversation going on in the chat right now too. One of our guys says, listen, I learned so much because it teaches you how to build teams, right? And that's, it's amazing. Even G Ryzen, all of us learn. These are the best players in the world we're playing with. And it's not just Big T and JSU. I'm working with two of the best. It's like there's a Discord that we have. These guys are in there all the time answering questions. Last night for Showdown, for the guys that missed our show and the ladies, they were in the Discord answering your questions, giving out these big lineups. So I'm just telling you, there's not enough. And if you sign up right now, RPS Heater 25, you get a free 1 month subscription to my OnlyFans, which is normally $99.99 a month. Do you think that's enough to get people to sign up, JT? You weren't listening. That's fine though.
Is it mandatory? Do you have to get the OnlyFans if you sign up, or is that
no? You can pass on the OnlyFans, okay. But it would definitely
clarify
help
that for the people.
It would help my ranking.
Yeah.
I don't know if there is a ranking, but it would help it.
What kind of content do you generally put out?
No, this is a free show, buddy.
I mean, just no. I mean, you see, I don't know. Maybe you could give the people just.
What would you like?
Let me ask you this. Is it video? Is it still? Is it you and others? Just you by yourself? Is it you and exotic animals? What goes on the?
There might be a Komodo dragon in there once in a while.
Yeah, that's always a good. A good prop.
OnlyFans, you could conceivably make an OnlyFans where you're just talking about baseball. We don't know. Maybe that's Holden's OnlyFans.
It's OnlyFans.
Yeah.
So little baseball.
Maybe it's clean.
Komodo dragon.
Clean content.
Yeah, we're doing good. This is what you guys are here for. Right. RPS Goat. No, I played one DFS soccer. You were the guy. This is the problem. You're like, oh, I'm going to clean up on the fish and take your money. This is why people stop playing DFS. This is why we don't get the new guys. Stop it. Stop bragging about that, RPS Goat. You took my 25-cent ticket, and that was it. I hope you enjoy it. Don't spend it all in one place.
That's not nice, is it, Holden? Was he nice to you?
No, listen, I like the guy. I think he's funny, but this is the problem. Don't say, I'm going to take your money, you fish, because then new people won't do it, and then we can't take their money.
Why would you join? Why would you
even bother?
Better to say everybody wins at this. Come on, let's go.
That's right.
As they say in poker, don't tap the glass.
All right. Easy. Anyways, let's move on.
You don't want to disturb the fish. Come on. Get with it, Holden.
For some reason, anytime I work with JT, I always try and have a little awkward silence there. He was not the awkward one. You were. But it's time to get to second base. Let's stop screwing. Are we done with first?
Let me just mention one more guy that I think is underpriced here. I agree with DC. Most people are probably going to look to pay up at this position. But if you're not paying up, Colin Moran is 2.4 against John Carlos Mejia for the Indians, and their bullpen recently going through some issues. Don't know if it's a result. Again, I think it's going to affect the bullpens as well. We're going to see a downgrade in some of these top bullpens for a little while here. And Colin Moran at 2.4 in the middle of that Pirate lineup, just a little bit too cheap if you wanted to pay down.
Okay, let's go over to second base now. So how many lefties are we getting in this lineup for the Twins tonight? Because is Luis Ariz there? Because if he is there, he's going to be very highly owned at 2.7K on DraftKings. He's 2.2 on FanDuel. He's nothing. A couple other guys, I guess I'll throw out to you, and then you can tell me if it's good or bad, or it really doesn't matter. I know it's not a good matchup, DC, but doesn't Tommy Edman just abuse lefties? He does. And that's a guy in a tournament that I don't think anybody is going to be on unless he's in a stack. And obviously, Simeon's going to be a big name tonight. Altuve's on fire, and he's facing a good lefty. It doesn't matter. This JSU has to have him in his core again. But what do you got at second base? Any plays that you liked or really disliked that I just brought up? Oh, and Chris Taylor.
Yeah, no, I think all are good shouts there. Edman, I'm a little worried about his health. He missed the game on Tuesday and Wednesday. He was scratched Tuesday, missed Wednesday, then came back yesterday on Thursday and went 0-for-4 with 2 Ks, right? So he had some side tightness. I'm just a little bit concerned about that affecting him, but I think he's a fine play, kind of like the Cardinals a little bit as a sneaky stack. I really like Ryan McMahon. I kind of like these Rockies. McMahon, I think, one of the better plays. You can really run on Corbin Burns. I believe he's allowed 11 steals this year. McMahon can run. Story can run. Tapia can run. And if Burns isn't the same guy that we've seen in the past, Coors Field, just kind of – it seems like it's brewing a little bit for the Rockies to me. Marcus Semien, I think it's got to be the top option, though, at 5K even. The Blue Jays, I just don't think Eshelman really stands much of a chance, So he would be the top guy for me. Ozzie Albies, like the Braves again, 4,600 against Carlos Martinez, who can't strike anybody out. So again, some good guys at the top for sure. One leverage, contrarian play, Josh Rojas leading off against Trevor Bauer. I think he's got a decent chance at a home run there. He'll be super low owned.
All right, let's do it. Mr. JT, second base. You love Marcus Semien all season long.
I played the Blue Jays a lot, and I do.
Good.
Yeah, I do like him here. I think Edmonds fine. I think Fried is a guy, and the Braves are a team that teams have been running on lately, and I think it's just trying to take advantage of the rookie, who I think is going to be good. William Contreras there, but you got Josh Harrison hitting 6th against Lucchesi for the Nats. If you wanted to pay down. Jed Lowry, a lefty, against Jameson Taillon, just not concerned about anyone from the left side of the plate. And then, I think one more guy, Jonathan India, been on fire, hit a home run in, I think, the 8th or the 9th inning last night. And they got a matchup against Paddock that, Paddock's been really good, but
that team total feels low for me for the Reds. I like them a little bit as a sneaky stack. I mean, they got a lot of good hitters,
And Paddock, Paddock, a home start, and then he went into New York, a place where in Citi Field, that's just great to pitch against a team that just doesn't give up runs, but they don't score a lot. And now he gets this powerhouse of the Reds, and we've seen these guys in sort of these under the radar spots.
They can do damage, man. All their guys can do damage.
Yep. And I think they were, and they got to Mark Melancon last night. They got to the Pods closer. They gave that bullpen a working through. Yep. So the bullpen's a little bit, you're going to have some different arms out there tonight. It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea.
Okay. Like button. Let's do it. We're at 153 with 370 watching.
Get that to 200, boys. Guys. Let's go.
Well, yeah, they'll get to 200. I personally, after the mojo that we gave everybody last night, I personally think we need to get another 100. We need to get to 250 today. Everybody's in a good mood in the chat. Everybody's in a good mood here. Everybody else is in a good mood. I even think Simon's in a good mood today. He smiled a couple of times before the show started. So everything's going well, guys. The like button is your friend. Did you do second base? This is quintessential me. No idea who talked about what position. Did you do second base? You did, didn't you, DC?
Yeah, I
did.
Yeah.
Good. That means we can move on to the next position,
yeah.
Which will be third base. You know what? Let's let JT get the first shot here. We've got let's talk about a game real quick, JT. So the Red Sox, hey, perfect setup. You're taking on Kansas City. You got 90-something degrees. It feels like 110. There's tons of humidity. And then I see that Kyle Zimmer is going to start. Now, he's probably going to go an inning. So I don't know what the hell is going on with the Royals tonight behind Zimmer, who has been good in bursts. But Boston's got to look juicy, right?
Yeah, 15-game slate, there's a ton of spots, and this is just one more. Zimmer may go 2. I looked up what he's been doing. He, in between 1 and 2 innings, and I'm not sure what is up Mike Matheny's sleeve here. Matheny, remember, I think, if we're ranking managers, X's and O's, he'd be in the bottom third for me. So I don't know if this is a situation where he's going to try and bring Jackson Kowar out of the bullpen, because people expected Kowar to start today. Maybe bring him out of the bullpen, take a little pressure.
I would assume so. I think Kowar will pitch as many innings as he's somewhat effective, basically, in this game. I don't know if he'll make it through 5 or 6, but I think if he's somehow pitching well, then he will.
Yeah, so bring Kowar into this game as opposed to having him start. Maybe try and take a little pressure off, which isn't the worst idea. The problem is sort of feel this way Felt the same way about Manning last night for Detroit, who actually didn't pitch all that terribly. But they're bringing guys up that are not ready for the big leagues because they don't have any other choice, right? They've been hit with a couple of injuries here, and Kowar showed so far in starts on the road, though, against the Angels and the A's that he's nowhere near big league ready. So the only thing that's a downside here is, let's say you get, first of all, Zimmer, I think, has been, if not their best, maybe their second or third best reliever. So you'll get an inning of him throwing, pure heat, and maybe he gets through that unscathed. Then you bring in Kowar, probably towards the bottom of that order. And now you're kind of a third of the game through, and maybe more before you start to see that really bad bullpen. Whereas I think some of these other spots, like the Blue Jays, like potentially the Cardinals, like potentially the Braves against Carlos Martinez, you've got teams that are going to see bad pitching from the very start. So it just dilutes a little bit my interest here in the Red Sox. Not saying they're not a good play, but in terms of best teams to stack on the slate, it puts them down several rungs for me. I don't know, DC, if you agree or disagree.
Yeah, I mean, I think I have the Red Sox fourth or fifth on my stack list, so I guess that would kind of put me as kind of neutral on them, right? I mean, I do like them, but I think some people will have the Red Sox first tonight, so that's not the case for me. Zimmer is good. Kowar, he obviously has some talent, but I mean, two horrible games in a row, right? Like, he just has shown absolutely nothing so far. A lot of pressure on him, right? Your first two starts in the big leagues, you can't get through more than a couple innings. Now you got to face the Red Sox in 100-degree heat. Like, what do you think is most likely to happen? I don't think it's probably going to go super well for Jackson Kowar. So I do like the Red Sox. I get not wanting to, go super all in on these kind of bullpen type games because, sometimes you just get kind of bad matchups all the way through, right? The team's mixing and matching. But the Royals, I mean, they've used most of their good relievers pretty recently. Irvin Santana is like the freshest long guy in that bullpen. You could see him, which would be great, obviously, if you're on the Red Sox. So, yeah, I think they're a good play, but I get it. I did like it better when Kowar was just a straight-up starter.
Okay. So third base, I mean, you can roll with Devers as always, right? There's no problem there. There's just, again, there's so many offensive options tonight. So JT, let's find somebody that's not going to be, well, we don't care about ownership. I get it. But somebody that's really a little bit of a deep dive, and then your pool tonight at third.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking for a deep dive here at third base. I'm just taking a look. I mean, I know he's probably going to get some ownership, but in particular against lefties, Eshelman bad against both sides, but in particular against lefties, you got Biggio, who's hitting in, I think he's in the 5-hole in that Toronto lineup. You even got Joe Panic, a member of Team Big Platoon, if you wanted to go down to 3-1. So he's there. After that, man, we got to go down a ways. You mentioned Devers. DC mentioned Ryan McMahon, who's third base eligible as well on DraftKings. You've got Justin Turner for the Dodgers, who's in a really good spot here, I think, in this matchup against Caleb Smith. And then, one of the worst bullpens in the game in Arizona. And I think after that, I mean, yeah, if you're stacking the Reds, you'll probably play Suarez. He's not my favorite by any means on this slate. But, yeah, I think third base probably one of the tighter pools I'll have here tonight.
Was he batting sixth again? Yeah, that lineup just came out. All right, DC, third base, dude.
Yeah, I got 5 guys listed here. Ramirez, I mean, kind of self-explanatory there, right? Rafael Devers, I also would say that's a little bit self-explanatory. He's in 100-degree heat. Justin Turner against a mediocre lefty who gives up a lot of home runs seems like a great play to me. And then the 2 cheaper guys, JT hit one of them, Kevin Biggio, who's been hitting much better since coming back from the IL. He had a weird, like a neck or back strain or something like that, missed a few weeks, but he's been better. I think he's a good hitter. And then Kyle Seager, who I'm, kind of always on as a one-off just because he's got the home run power. You don't love the Mariners in general, but against Michael Wacha, I mean, he's got a chance to take one deep. So, yeah, I think the top end looks good, and then Seager, Biggio, the cheaper guys that I'd play.
What's your take on the Indians as a whole? I mean, Ramirez has been on fire. That offense has put up some big nights recently.
Yeah.
We do have some rain tonight in Pittsburgh. Should be, though, around 80 degrees, though. So what do you think?
Yeah, we'll have to pay attention to that weather. That is the one game I think that is somewhat in question. I do expect them to play ultimately. I mean, I don't have the Indians super high up on my stack list. I just don't think they have individually as much upside. I do like the mini stack 3, 4, 5. Jose Ramirez, Eddie Rosario, Bobby Bradley. But I think I'll mostly stick to those 3 guys.
Okay. Back to the position by position. Hit the like button. RPS Heater 25, folks. RPS Heater 25. Everybody seems to have won last night. The heater continues. 25% off your first payment. Go to runpuresports.com. Add the bet side for, what is it, $20? Get bets, if you want to use that one, because even Mangone is giving winners now. I mean, actually, I have a lot of respect for Mangone. He's been doing pretty good with these K props too. Shortstop. I mean, again, it's like who do you could make 100 lineups tonight. Tatis, Bichette, Bogarts, Simeon on DK. You can play him there. Trey Turner.
This is why at the top of the show I was talking about I have a very condensed player pool, or pitcher pool rather. That's because when you get to offense, there's so many good plays at the top end, right? I kind of want to mix and match and build, some mini stacks. For me, this isn't necessarily a full-on stack night because there's just so many elite individual plays at the top end that I kind of want to.
Freddie Galvis.
Yeah, Freddie Galvis too. Yeah, there you go.
It's a lefty. What do you got, DC? Since your thoughts on that?
I mean, you hit a lot of the, if you want to spend up on any of those top guys.
Yeah, there's the spend up.
You can't really argue against Tatis or Bichette. Trevor Story, I think, is interesting. I think he'll be much lower owned, I think, than Tatis or Bichette, which is a weird thing to say about a Coors Field player, but great running matchup for Trevor Story, who's stealing bases like crazy right now. He'll run on Corbin Burns if he gets a chance. I almost can guarantee that. But my actually number one play here, once you take pricing into consideration, is Adalberto Mondesi, back from the injured list, homered in his first at bat on Wednesday. They had yesterday off. He gets Nick Pivetta, who has kind of been faltering recently and who I just wasn't really ever bought in on his start anyway. 100 degrees, as we mentioned, in Kansas City. Pivetta has also allowed, I think, 6 or 7 steals this year. So great running matchup for Mondesi. And he's just been great when he's been in the lineup. I mean, he's absolutely crushing it. It's been very, very few at bats. Only 29 at bats for Mondesi. He's hitting 345 with 3 home runs, 1,100 OPS, and he's going to run in this matchup. So, I mean, I just love everything about it. 3,900. I think he's the best point per dollar shortstop play tonight.
JT, who's the best point per dollar shortstop tonight?
I mean, I can't disagree that Mondesi is a great play tonight in this matchup. Again, there's so many bullpens that you can attack right now. I think Boston's is definitely in the mix. I do like Trey Turner at 4.9 in that matchup against the Mets. Price came down. We've already talked a lot about the Blue Jays. Bo, you're going to pay for Bo tonight, 5.8. But again, man, the matchup isn't much better than that. I hate that the Cardinals keep hitting Paul DeJong in either the 7 or the 8 hole. He's 3-2, but he's in the 8 hole tonight in that game in Atlanta. So if you wanted to pay down, I mean, I don't love the individual batting order spot there. You got Xander if you're interested in the Red Sox at 5.3. And then after that, I mean, that's of course, Tatis against a rookie making his second start. Tatis has been hitting.
That'll work. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you better feel good about your shortstop tonight. I'll say that much because it is absolutely loaded. A couple guys didn't mention. I mean, Jazz Chisholm is 4K against
Zach Davies.
Yeah, Zach Davies. Yeah, which is just a fantastic play, of course, too. Brandon Crawford has been killing it. Vince Velasquez gives a ton of hard contact to left-handed bats. He's got a chance to go yard. If you're on the Braves, you have Dansby Swanson, very fair price point of 3,700. It's like almost every shortstop looks like they're in a pretty damn good spot tonight. So it's hard to narrow down at this position. I do think you can mix and match a little bit if you want to.
Fascinating stuff. It really is. It's like now we just got to find the value pitching, I guess, because you're going to need one of them. You need one of them unless you just go double middle build. But I don't know.
Yeah, there's some value outfielders. That's kind of the case. It seems like a lot of the time where you can. There's some great high-end outfielders too, but You know, obviously can't spend at every single position. So I think outfield will get there. Looks like a good saving spot to me.
All right, where are we now? 406 watching, 182. We're definitely getting to 200 likes. Would really like it if we got to 250 though. That would make us feel good at Run Pure, and then we'd have all the good mojo continuing. We got the Up to Lock show. If you don't know about that, the premium show, and that's where everybody won the money in Showdown. Well, they could have been in Discord too, but you know, last night or every night, right after this show, I think it's about 35 minutes away. Every night, what would that be? 5:30 Eastern till we usually hang out till about 7:30, at least 30 minutes afterwards. So we're on for at least 2 hours and just more winners. You get to pick the brains of JSU, Big T, and whoever the hell else is on the show. So it was big. JT, are you ever on the Up to Lock show? Why are you not there sometimes? We need more of you. I think you were there when I was gone. Why can we not get more of JT? Because the free stuff, you're worth a lot more than the free stuff.
I wonder if that was a coincidence that he was on when you were not.
No, there was no coincidence. You know, I
don't believe in coincidences. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they save the big stuff. You don't. All right, JT. Why don't they put you on that show more? Are you busy?
I was on, and I've been talking with JSU about doing it more. So it's just a matter of getting the schedules to align. I had a great time. I will say, and this is why guys like JSU and Big T get the respect from everyone in the industry, and of course from us, their fellow coordinators, is because it's really tough to do that show leading up to lock when you're also playing, and especially when you're also if you're max entering. I mean, think about that. You're trying to reset exposures, figure out which stacks have the best chance to get you to the top, and in the same time, you're taking on a bunch of questions, trying to talk through maybe changes, maybe a pitcher gets scratched, the West Coast lineup comes out. So a big props to you and JSU for doing it all throughout the basketball season. And I know that Big T's been hopping on there a lot more. It's tough to do, but I'll be on there. I may be on there a day or two next week, actually.
Oh, dude.
I'm excited for it.
82 days away from the NFL, but who's counting? But JSU and I, this will be our 4th season doing the Up to Lock show. And I'm telling you right now, there's just nobody better in the business. This is a complete stroke fest today, but I don't even give a damn. We're all happy. We all won last night. We just had a dude sign up. I mean, who is this? Nate Turner? Welcome to the team, Nate. Get in the Discord, dude. It's going to be very important you get in the Discord, okay? Get in there because that's where you learn a lot of strategy and you get guys plays at the last minute. Oh, RPS GOAT. It looks like an RPS member won the $20 euros for 25K. Are you kidding me? Holy shit. I might unload. This is going to be bad bankroll management tonight, but this is the run we're on here. We might as well just hop on. Just screw it. Just throw the whole.
Got to press those edges, man.
Yeah. Now RPS will say in the Discord, do not do what Holden is doing, but I'm just feeling it. I'm feeling it right now. Outfield time. Draft cheat. I don't even. Dude, it's just so many guys. There's too many of them.
Yeah, for sure.
Ohtani. I have to have Ohtani tonight.
Yeah,
that's it.
I think you could just start reading the entire list of outfielders, and they all look like pretty good plays. So we'll try to narrow it down at least a little bit. For me, the 5K plus guys that I'm most want to get into my lineups, Ohtani leads the way. You can play him at first base. Jose Urena, who's facing tonight, just has no success whatsoever against left-handed bats. One of the lowest strikeout rates against lefties in all of baseball. That's one of Ohtani's slight weaknesses, is he can strike out, but when he's probably not going to, good things are going to happen. So he's number one for me. If we're including ownership into it, if you're playing tournaments, obviously you want low-owned guys, all things being equal. I'll be back on the Jesse Winker train. He hasn't homered in a few days, but I have no issue playing him against Chris Paddock. I think that's a perfectly fine matchup for Winker. I think you'll get him very low owned just because of the low Cincinnati team total. Christian Yelich, against Senzatella, Coors Field, it's really hard to argue with that. So those are, I guess, my top 3 guys. Painful to leave Ronald Acuna off the list. He's right behind him. At top end, there's just so many guys you can play.
Okay. JT, you want to add anything to this? I guess, where am I going for salary relief? Can I do a little Austin Hayes tonight? Can I go that low? Do I have to? Can I do a little Randall Grichuk or Any of the other outfielders, even Lourdes
Yeah,
Gurriel.
we'll get to those guys for sure. Yep.
Yeah. What do you think, JT?
Yeah, no, I think you can go there. I think Ramon Laureano is hitting in the 2-hole for Oakland. His price, he just came off the injured list. He's 3.8.
Yep.
This is a guy that was well into the mid 5s before he got injured. So you're getting a significant discount there. We talked a little bit about St. Louis, Tyler O'Neill at just 3.8 in the middle of that lineup. Remember, you're going to get Max Fried for as long as he can, throw strikes. But once you get Max out of that game, you're going to get, what is the worst bullpen I've seen in a long, long time, and a subject of a lot of topic of conversation here in Atlanta about can they do something to fix themselves, because without doing so, they're not going to go very far. And then, I think DC mentioned Winker. You've got JD Martinez at 4.8, Verdugo at 4.3.
Yep.
Taylor Ward hit a grand slam last night. I had Taylor in my main lineup. I had Angels in my main lineup. So he's still just 2.8, projected to be hitting in the 6-hole. Again, you get that bad bullpen behind him. And then, the Dodgers, Betts expensive, 6.2 leading off. And then I don't really, maybe AJ Pollock at 3.4. And Yastrzemski for San Francisco. The Giants have just been on fire against right-handed
go off again
pitching.
tonight. That part's not really slowing them down right now.
Yeah, one of the games, it was like in the 80s, and people sleep on this. Like in San Francisco, when it's warm there in the 80s, the ball does fly. I know it's a big park, but the ball flies. Still not worried about it at night. And here, I'll just tell you my play of the night is. It's Duggar, man. Every night this dude's hitting a home run. They haven't adjusted his price yet. That's the issue. What is he? 2.6 on FanDuel, 3.1 on DraftKings. He's had 16, 23, and 24 DraftKings points. I'm just telling you now, this is my guy. If you got a one-off and you need a little salary there, boom. Duggar's my guy. Give it to me all night. I'll take it. Who else is down low, DC?
Yeah, good call on Duggar. I've kind of missed the boat, I think, a little bit on him, but he's been smashing, no question about it. So I do like that call. And yeah, the Giants in general, I think, are a little bit sneaky. Again, yeah, I'll still roster lefties against Fulte for sure. I know Kirilloff and Trevor Larnach, the two twins, lefty outfielders, have been kind of slumping a little bit, but I still have faith in these guys long term, so I'll stick with them against Fulte. I think that's a really good matchup despite not being the best hitting environment on this slate. Yeah, other cheap guys. You mentioned Tyler O'Neill, Dylan Carlson, I think is good at 3K. Brian Reynolds, also 3K, looks like a pretty good play. I think hitting second or third for the Pirates. So some decent cheap guys for sure. I do like that kind of mid-range though. O'Neill, Verdugo, Grichuk, right? That kind of 3.5 to 4.5K range. A lot of good guys in that range for sure.
All right, JT, finish this up here in the outfield.
Yeah, there are a couple of punts in that Braves lineup. Actually, guys that got it done last night. Almonte hitting fourth at 2.4, and then Guillermo Heredia actually got the scoring started last night. 2.5, he's sitting in the 8th hole. But again, if you're trying to, against our advice, pay up and pair up like a Bauer and a Rodon, then you're going to need some of these guys. It's not the way I'm going to go, but certainly those guys are there for you.
Okay, gentleman, if there's any ladies, what up? Too shy of 200. This is great. We're going to give out our plays of the day, and then we'll hand it off to the premium crew today. You guys I know there's a lot of questions. If you are a subscriber, ask the premium show. We take your up to lock questions. I usually do that show. We did a little switcheroo today, and I like that. I like doing a free show, talking to the non-subs too. But get in the show, ask the questions there. Get in the Discord, ask the questions there, because I know there's a lot of questions we're getting here, and we're just going to push it to premium. That's, to be fair to the subscribers, we're going to help you and go there. JT, you are the Eiffel Tower play of the day. Is that correct? Are we still doing the Eiffel Tower?
I mean, of course we can. Of course we can.
Is there something I'm missing? Am I missing something?
No.
Okay, beautiful. Have you ever been to Eiffel Tower?
I have. It's beautiful at night, Holden. It's beautiful at night. They do a light show, I think, every half hour on the half hour.
That was a month ago. There was two girls. So yeah, JT, what's the Eiffel Tower play of the day? True story.
Holden, I love your greatness. I just revel in it every time I get to do a show with you.
One word for it.
Hey, shut up, worst white guy on Twitter. Nobody has the worst white guy on Twitter for his thoughts on that one. Who is it, JT?
Yeah. Oh, we talked about this in the pitching section throughout the day. Actually, it's a guy that jumped out to me last night. I said it. I think with pitching, especially right now, I think you look to a couple of different things. And one big thing is the makeup of these guys. We talked about Garrett Cole's interview. You talk about Glasnow and even Bauer melting down. And I think there's something to this kid, James Kaprielian. I think he's got a lot of talent. But in addition to that, I think he's got the mental side of this game. He's a bit ahead of where most players are at his age. And this Yankee team, from the perspective of facing right-handed power pitchers, does not scare me one bit. I think he's going to go into Yankee Stadium and throw a gem, and I'm going to have James Kaprielian in my main lineup.
That's the bold calls we like. I love it, JT. I'm not on it myself, but I love the call.
You know what? Don't ever bet on the Yankees too. I mean, that's what a money pit that team is. Good God. I like it. Let's go. Mom's basement play of the day, DC.
Yeah, easy one for me today. Adalberto Mondesi gets you a home run and a steal, maybe multiple steals in this game, frankly. 3,900 still at a discount. You will see Adalberto Mondesi above 5K. I'll say this time next week for Mondesi. I think he's about to go on an absolute tear. So Mondesi, the Mom's basement play of the day.
Love him, and nobody ever plays him. That's the whole thing. It's like, oh, Mondesi, we're not gonna. The dude does a little bit of everything. Yeah. So I still need to change the edibles play of the day, because apparently I'm not even close to being the person that eats the most edibles here at RPS. I would like for you to change your play to the worst white guy on Twitter play of the day. That's up to you. I already said it. Hey-o! Hacksaw, Jim Duggar. Let's go with Duggar tonight, boys. Let's roll it out. Let's get the dude to hit us a home run, maybe 2 home runs, another 20-point DK night, and then we can all go and enjoy the rest of the night. So that's my play. We got Duggar, Kaprielian, and Mondesi. That's it. You guys win the money. It's going to be wonderful. Brett Gardner's going to hit a home run, Alex.
Maybe.
Real quick, the Jay, and I know we got to get out of here, but the Jay's a premium subscriber. Can you loop back to the top 3 pitchers real quick? DC, top 3 pitchers tonight. And why is Alex Cobb not there? Who's the top 3?
Actually, pretty easy for me tonight. It's Barrios, Kikuchi, and Robbie Ray. Pretty much, I think, going to make up my entire pitching pool tonight.
JT?
Kaprielian, Luis Garcia, and then I'll have some of Kikuchi. I think that's probably it. And Folty is a guy I'm going down low for. We talked about that.
Tony A, we ran along today. If you want the stacks, make sure you tune into the premium show. JSU Big T, and guess who's making his debut on the premium show? Lil Stevie Boynton. Big boy Stevie Boynton. My man. We were trading off and on, just going red hot during March Madness. Now the guy is making his debut. He's moving on up. And basically, he's a name dropper. All he ever says, last night I had dinner with Evan Silva. So you'll hear Evan Silva's name 1.5 million times. It's like, I mean, I love Evan Silva, but if you're going to name drop, come on, man. Come on. You can do better than that, Stevie. I'm looking forward to checking you out. RPS Heater 25. Everybody won last night. It was absolutely amazing. 25% off your first payment. If you want to make even more money, go to the bet side, add it for $20. It is completely worth it. I'm over there all the time. Absolutely love it. For those of you that are premium members, and welcome to our dude that just got here. I love it. Izzy says 250 likes, you sold out. Listen, I'm in a good mood today. I don't give a damn. I had a
Friday, of course.
Yeah, no, it's not. I had a nice coffee date today. I'm going on vacation tomorrow. Things are going well. Stevie B did get called up to the big leagues. Probably a spot start. Let's hope he doesn't get rocked. JT, wonderful to see you again, my friend. DC, you're the worst white guy on Twitter. Simon in the background. Love you, dude. Great to see you. Love for everybody. RPS Heater 25% off. Catch the premium show next. Keep running pure.